Hello, everyone. Yes, it's me. Uh, I just watched the most amazing video and I had this just thought that came to my mind. Yes, created in the image of God. We are. And there is this, I've talked about this before, the Asher House. Who doesn't know which animal lover and keeper of animals that does it right doesn't know about the Asher House? If you have Facebook, you don't know about the Asher House, well, I don't know what you're looking at, but it's amazing. These people are amazing. And the guy who started it, oh my gosh, every dog he is, oh my God, oh my God, they're so, and in the way that he just, it is so genuine, the love that this guy has for all these abandoned and rescued animals. And I was watching the last, it was a day ago that they posted this one. And now, and I'm watching, and I started tearing up. I'm tearing, still tearing, watching this guy. And I'm looking, I'm going, that's God in the flesh right there, loving on his abandoned and rescued creatures right there. It was like this moment of just, oh my gosh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful to see that, on how God comes through, our heavenly parent comes through a human being. That's how I see God, our heavenly Father, heavenly Mother, heavenly parent come through people in that way. Yeah, beautiful, love it. Oh, made my day already. Made my day 100%. And, uh, you know, I would say if anyone out there needs a little guidance on tithing, right? God's part, yes. Um, do it there. Do it there. Okay, let's keep going in the book of Isaiah. Makes more sense to me anyway. 53, fourth song of the servant. Look, my servant will prosper, will grow great, will rise to great heights. As many people were aghast at him, he was so inhumanly disfigured that he no longer looked like a man. So many nations will be astonished, and kings will stay tight lipped before him, seeing what had never been told them, learning what they had not heard before. Who has given credence to what we have heard? What have you heard? And who has seen it, a revelation of Yahweh's arm? Like a sapling, he grew up before him, like a root in arid ground. He had no form or charm to attract us, no beauty to win our hearts. He was despised, the lowest of men, a man of sorrows, familiar with suffering, one from whom, as it were, we averted our gaze, despised from for whom we had no regard. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about here. Yet ours were the sufferings he was bearing, ours the sorrows he was carrying, while we thought of him as someone being punished and struck with affliction by God, whereas he was being wounded for our rebellions, crushed because of our guilt. The punishment reconciling us fell on him, and we have been healed by his bruises. We had all gone astray like sheep, each taking his own way, and Yahweh brought the acts of rebellion of all of us to bear on him. Ill treated and afflicted, he never opened his mouth. Like a lamb led to the slaughterhouse, like a sheep dumb before its shearers, he never opened his mouth. It sounds to me like this they're talking about Jesus here, but it's still the Old Testament. Ooh, interesting. Forcibly after sentence he was taken, which of his contemporaries was concerned at his having been cut off from the land of the living, as his having been struck dead for his people's rebellion. He was given a grave with the wicked, and his tomb is with the rich, although he had done no violence, had spoken no deceit. It was Yahweh's good pleasure to crush him with pain. If he gives his life a sin offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his life, and through him Yahweh's good pleasure will be done. What? You know what this sounds like? That's very interesting. I bet you we'd find passages in the Quran like this. Also, they're in the Bible too. Interesting. After the ordeal he has endured, he will see the light and be content. By his knowledge, the upright one, my servant, will justify many by taking their guilt on himself. There's an odd one that I heard. I believe in the Muslim religion community, where if you kill infidels or whatever and then you die, you go to their heaven or heaven, and there will be virgins waiting for you. That's weird too, isn't it? But somehow that came to my mind here too as I was reading. Oh, where we go? Where is this going here? Hence I shall give him a portion with the many, and he will share the booty with the mighty, for having exposed himself to death and for being counted as one of the rebellious, whereas he was bearing the sin of many and interceding for the rebellious. The fourth servant are soldiers. Interesting. That's the end of 53. Okay, well, it is what it is in here. I wonder how other people understand this. And again, this sounds like great manipulation into, hey. Okay, you know what? I'll go in there. This will be a short one. Yes? The Asher House. I'm going right back to that. We have taken in so many animals. While we were in the city, we couldn't. Okay, there was one place I couldn't help myself. I don't know. We did have in the city in Berkeley, California. We ended up in this great house. I'll tell this story right now. After I stayed here in the United States, it was just amazing on how it went from there. Yes, to meeting true parents was amazing. And the reason for it is my husband said, after we had our first child, I said, you know, religion, regardless, was a good foundation for me. And it just depends. Yeah? If you're exposed to it, this just depends on where your own heart to mind lies. Growing up as a child, and then you go ahead with and use it however needed or as it pleases people on the side of goodness, of course. And I wanted my children to have that foundation as well. And then later on, if they, I've never forced my children into any kind of religious doctrine. I wanted to be an example to them, and I wanted them to be around a community though that did yes at least acknowledge God. Yes, how well they followed all that's it. And so I said, well, I'd like to go to church. I didn't want to go to the Catholic Church. I'll tell you why. It's like when I was done with school, I was definitely done with the Catholic Church after that. I was invited, and we went. I went to then to go and check out some churches, and there was a Catholic church in Berkeley. It was really nice. I went one time, and it's kind of the same as it was here. I mean, in Switzerland. And so then, after I had our first child, went there, and I said, "Oh, my!" It was very important to my mom for them to get baptized. And literally, I have to tell you honestly, I people can believe whatever they want. I do not believe that a baby not baptized is going to hell. You- Boo! People want to believe superstitious stuff like this. Okay, you know what? Let's not go there. So I went, but I went for my mom was who my mom was, and she had a wonderful faith. And yes, it came with some things. I wanted to make sure her mind was at ease. And gosh, one more blessing won't hurt, right? Yes, okay. So I went and talked to the priest there, and he said, "Well, before," and I told him, I said, "Well, I'm Catholic in Switzerland, you know." And he said, "Well, that doesn't matter if you need to come to the catechism uh, lessons and some other stuff, and then we'll baptize your baby." I said, "Why? Shouldn't it be more important?" I told him, "Shouldn't it be more important for you to say, oh, yeah, absolutely, bring that baby. We're going to make it a beautiful baptism." No. Okay, if it would have been me who wanted to be baptized, then yes, I should have some, what, one could reason with that. To, well, let's see how committed you are, this or that. And even then, I'd say, well, that wouldn't be any of anybody's business. But a baby? To refuse to baptize a so you're refusing to baptize a baby if I don't do what you want me to do? He said, yeah. I said, okay, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. That was the last uh that was that now I was done with the Catholic Church, which didn't mean I had another friend where okay, well, there's another story, which I don't need to tell. So my husband, I went home and said, "Well, that didn't work out." And he says, "Well, I tell you honestly, the only church that I want to go to, if I'm going to church, is at that time still the Unification Church. Yes, the Moonies." And I did see he had a picture of both True Mother and True Father hanging on the wall. Didn't know who they were. I've never heard of them in Switzerland. And we went. Ended up going. No, I'm not going to tell all the before stuff. And I just said, well, gotta go. This is where we're going. And so it was my husband who actually introduced me to the church, which is now the Family Federation for World Peace. Yes, and our beloved True Mother is in detention in South Korea. For what reason exactly? Well, seems like the reasons are made up, hyped up. I don't know what. Uh, Seems to be more lies than anything else. Yeah, they're struggling there. South Korea's struggling. And they had nothing, they had didn't know what else to do than to put an 80-plus-year-old woman in detention. That's a bit beyond me, yes. Anyway, yep, so there was that. But here's the story I wanted to tell on well, now I told that story. While we were there, we had lived, I gave birth, I had all of my children at home, and it was a very, very small one bedroom, really small one bedroom apartment. And I got pregnant again. Yes, a couple of years later, not quite, a year and a half later. And we needed a bigger home. Went to church and prayed about it, this and that. Went to church uh, and met this guy. And he asked us for a ride back to, we were living kind of in the same area, it seemed like. I said, yeah, sure, come on. Turns out that his name was Eldridge Cleaver, not my brother in faith, Eldridge, I mention all the time. Eldridge Cleaver, and of course, I didn't know anything about the Black Panthers. Hello, I didn't grow. I wasn't born and grew up here, right? And all that, so I didn't know who he was, and I don't think my husband did either. So we found out later. Right? Eldridge Cleaver, one of the Black Panthers, and we gave him a ride back, and we were talking about. We're looking for. I'm not sure. My husband and I were telling. Says, we should go and look at this house and see if. And he says, "Are you guys looking for a place to live?" I said, "Well, we're looking for a bigger place to live." He says, "I got you a house. I'm managing for an older lady this house." I said, "Oh, well, let's go." So we went. It was a really beautiful house. If you could look past what had been going on in that house. That backyard was amazing. The biggest backyard, I guarantee you, in all of Berkeley when it came down to where it was at, not in the Berkeley Hills. And yeah, we were the rent was right, and you could tell he definitely gave us a break there. And he says, "I'd love for you guys to move in here," and okay, cool. So we did. Yeah, I had to do a lot of cleanup first, this snap, but as I said, it was all surface kind of stuff. Otherwise, the house was in great shape, and the backyard was just overgrown, and so there, I was in heaven, and we got a goat. I had ham. We got a goat. We had rabbits. We had chickens. Dogs and cats. Yes, and it felt like at that time it felt like my journey to rescue animals and kind of started. Yes, we could not. My children are the same way now. We can't walk past an animal in need. Not happening. It just isn't happening. Mm. After we moved, we couldn't take the goat with us, so we ended up giving it to Tilden, which there was, they have a little farm, Tilden Farm. So yeah, I couldn't go with us. But then I ended up having goats here, so that was fun too. Anyway, I don't know. As I have said in the last few videos, who, what makes people think, or what chosen people are? Yes, the chosen ones. Who are they? And as I've said, doesn't everyone, when it comes down to it, everyone has been given a gift of some sorts to make a difference out there, to be a part of a community on the side of goodness. Yes? People like this Lee Asher are a great testament on how God works on earth, on God, how God is present on earth, in my opinion. And you want to call someone chosen, you want to, which again, that's not what I want to do. If one wants to say, yeah, this guy, then with his wife and everyone there that ended up also being there due to Lee Asher, he has used the gift given to him in an astounding way, to the point where we can actually see the living God on earth through a person. Yes, that's what I see. That's what I believe. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so there it is. Tithing. The reason we tithe is so that the rest of what we keep to ourselves is a blessing, becomes a blessing rather than a curse. Oh, but that's superstitious, this and that. It's called making a foundation. And Spirit World can only work with us if we make that foundation. Free will, our choice. We make that foundation, we open the door to many good things. We keep the door closed, well, guess what? Who can enter? Yes? There it is. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you, guide you, embrace you with love. Yes? Oh, Eldritch, you worry me. Praying for you. And I will talk to y'all another time.